Good morning, Mr. Spurgis. Check, check. Audio check, check, baby, check, baby, check. 1, 2. Checkity check. Good morning, everybody. Pedro and I will be with you in just a moment. Hope you're enjoying our January Bitcoin girl. Good morning, everybody. Pedro and I getting the show started. All right, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great show. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. Man in the box behind me, Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. Oh boy, I got that music too loud. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking. Man in the box next to me, Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. It is the beginning of January. Today is January 5th, 2026. Or if you're in trading, 6 like this, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe it. It's almost time for the department stores to put the Christmas displays up. It's getting close. It's getting close. They'll be up the cargo ships from China are on the way right now. I'm gonna fill those department stores with cheap plastic crap that we all know that you want to buy. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome to the first show of DYOR Live here in 2026. Pedro and I are glad to be back with you here. Another year behind the mic, behind the curtain, behind the whatever, but we're out front of the industry, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I just made that up. Anyway, welcome everyone that's watching. Got a lot to go about. Why? Because everyone is suddenly stoked about the market. Bitcoin went up about a billionth of a percentage, and everyone is happy. Whoa! After weeks of down. All of a sudden, we have bull signs. Hey, bull market. But is it a bear trap or a bull trap waiting to get you? Later, we'll talk about BTC. Well, not that far later. Let's see, who do we got here? A new viewer on Kick. Oh, and he's just giving us free viewers. Thanks for your free engagement there, fraudulent toothpick. Anyway, welcome Jason Spurgis, better half of the Spurgis family, coming to us over on the YouTube. Thanks for joining us, really appreciate it. Pedro, looks like you got some grandma's tamales there. Is that what you're saying? Something like that?
Yes, my tia's tamales. They are absolutely amazing. They have their corn husk like fresh. Oh my goodness, dude! I like tamales. I don't like, and I swear, if I'm gonna go, like, if I'm hungry, I'm gonna get a big like super burrito at a restaurant, right? At a Mexican restaurant. But if I want something with savory and to enjoy, I'll get tamales. Or I'll get maybe enchiladas, though, make sure I get some shredded beef on that. Make sure it's, really, really good, tasting. You want it to be flavorful with the shredded. But I tell you, man, these tamales, bro, it's like whatever your mom can cook that's just so good. Like most moms know that tamales are like it's like the comfort food. It's like comfort food, right? But it's good. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. And so I just busted them out, and I thought I'd share it with everybody here online, where you guys can see me eat this and wish you were eating it as well.
Oh.
All right. It has been an interesting weekend.
Yeah,
right?
Interesting time. The liquidity in the markets have come racing back. There's been like zero, or not zero, but very low liquidity the past few weeks because of the holiday season. We always know that. Everyone plans for it. And of course, the markets did exactly what we thought they were going to do while the holidays were on, and that was not much. Not much. Silver gave us a little scare up and down. Gold gave us a little oomphy oomph. Bitcoin did nothing pretty much until London opened last night. And then Bitcoin said, hey, I'm here, buddies. Let's, oh crap, I gotta fix the pricing thing. Where is the pricing thing? Price graphic. Yeah, hold on one here while I fix the price graphic here.
Well, Tom is facing also the craziness that's happening in Venezuela. That is
nothing to see here. Move along. Let's go arrest the leader of a country.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is watching all the mega people, dude. It's just like, it's comical. But you know what's interesting is I I was listening to a CIA pundit guy. His name is Andrew Bustamante.
Yeah.
He goes around, and so he came out and he was talking about how, honestly, he's like, I have family and friends of mine that live in Venezuela, and the truth is a lot of them are really happy. And you've mentioned this multiple times that he is not the true president of Venezuela, even though he is, but he isn't, because he kind of took it because of the drug cartels and everything like that correlate with it. And to hear Andrew Bustamante just simply say, like, look, it's kind of better for the world and kind of better for America. The truth is that we're going to really put a huge just face stomp in the drug cartel industry is kind of a good thing. And I was like, interesting. I was not expecting that to come from him. This wasn't.
Well, we didn't just put a face stomp on them. We've been blowing up their boats left and right, whether they've come from Venezuela, Colombia, southern Mexico, wherever. We're just, if you're a little speedboat carrying square grouper, I wouldn't transport anything that wrapped up in cellophane in squares. It's just chum for shark fishing. Yeah. Cluster bomb.
Good.
And I would go about 5 miles an hour. 60 miles an hour with 17. I'd be up there waving. I'd have a girl in a bikini. Hi, guys. I'm good. We're good. You can come inspect. Everything's fine. There's nothing to see here. Move along. But yeah, did you hear about the conversation that Trump mentioned his conversation with President, I don't know, what's her name, of Mexico, Goldstein?
Oh, yeah.
Or, that's not her name. I just picked the first Jewish name I could think of.
I know who you're talking about. Keep going.
And he said, do you want us to help? And she's like, no, it's okay. And he's like, really, you're not in control of the country. We know this. The cartels are running it, and they're making you do what they want. Well, I can take care of this, and no problem. We'll fix it. All you have to do is ask us. And she's like, no, we're fine. And he's like, okay. And I thought that very prescient. I was like, first of all, we know exactly what's going on. Second of all, he just admitted we can take care of this very quickly. Yes. Which is, I'm guessing, something the military has been keying up for a while.
Yes.
Pedro, if anyone thinks that we're going to do this in Venezuela, but allow it to happen on our back door, it's no. All they're doing is just waiting it out, waiting for the right time. Like they waited for the weather. They waited a month or something like that. No, Pedro's internet connection died again. Oh, he's back. He's back. It was brief.
Yes, who's back?
It's gonna come to them. It's gonna come and it's gonna be nasty.
Well, here's the thing. Imagine one side where he comes in because he wants to, and the rest of the world is going to get pissed. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're already pissed what happened with Venezuela. You hear China coming out and being like, that's bullshit. You shouldn't have done that to Venezuela. You hear Putin talking about how that this is war crimes or whatever. And even Europe is kind of like silent. They're not really out there just blatantly say this is absolutely wrong. But what's interesting is watching, though, how people are almost egging us on to say, going to Mexico. It almost feels like that, right? Like we're done. Enough of this shit. Yeah, and the thing is, it was so quick. It was so quick. It wasn't like we were, on the beaches of Japan blowing, you know what I'm saying? Like just grilling it out, right? Like we just went in. Or grinding it out, excuse me, not grilling it out.
Took care of business.
Yeah, and then bounce, and then a couple days later he's like, Happy New Year, like like it's almost as if he kind of knew it was sooner or later going to happen in a sense, right? Like he was like, "Won't you come for me? Come for me! You call yourself," you know what I'm saying? Like you hear him saying that stuff, and then he's just like, "All right, they came for me. What's up?" And here's the other part. If this does happen, what other crime families you think are going to become like, because there's a lot of crime families here in America. A lot of crime,
right?
Like it's not like this. It's not something that you can just sit there and be like, I mean, you have these guys who literally run industries, right? Because they were able to start up industries because they had the drug money, i.e., the avocado industry, right? I.e., the actual olive oil industry, right? There's a lot of industries that are supplemented by drug money, and so, like, it's going to be very interesting to see the vacuum of if they do go and they remove a lot of these drug companies, not drug companies, horrible to say. What is going to take place in the midst of the vacuum of their presence? It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Will Mexico kind of finally roll over and be like, you know what, let's become the 50. I think it would be really, it's going to sound crazy, but if Mexico became the 51st state, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that sounds crazy, but I'm just saying. I mean, they pretty much took,
might as well just reunite New Mexico, Arizona, and California back into the northern provinces of Mexico.
Don't forget Texas.
Just say, hey, welcome to the team.
Or almost make it like Puerto Rico.
But there's a problem with that. If we let Mexico in, we're probably going to have to let Canada in, and that means Quebec. And then we're going to have Spanish and the fucking Frenchies to the north. We're going to have Spain, French, Fringlish Spanish speaking mess here soon. Nobody will know what the hell anyone's saying.
Well, here's the thing I think is even cool. And by the way, I got a new bottle that doesn't have any nothing on it, so it's going to be cool looking. So it's even bigger than my last bottle.
Oh, look at that. He disappears.
All right.
All right, we got a lot to talk about today. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Here. What the hell happened the past holiday, and then what has happened today, Pedro?
All right, so let's talk about a few things here. I think it's really important to just admit here. We came down, we consolidated here. We saw a decent amount of seller volumes come in towards the end of the year. We saw a lot of people taking profit, right, up at these levels when we were up at the 120 level, 126. Now, I was wrong. I said at the end of the year, we should see a Bitcoin at 250, 300,000. We did not see that. If anything, we saw the opposite. We saw the pullback come from it, and we've kind of been sitting here. But it doesn't mean that they're not accumulating, because when you talk about, like I've said, they consolidated, and they've been going through on the 2 and 4 hour accumulating. You can see here we have, besides the sell-off that came in right here, you can see we have both sides, buyers and sellers, stepping in at this junction point. We saw the breakout of this week here, or Monday. We saw the breakout kind of push up. Now, the thing I want to add here with BTC, and I think it's really important to pay attention to, as in what's one of the things I always talk about, I want to see demand wicks, and that's exactly what we're starting to see here as we're pushing up here. We're seeing demand wick kind of pull back, a little bit of a demand wick, especially on the 2 hours here. Demand wick down at these kind of as it pulls back to go up. So it's one of the things I like seeing here. It looks like it's a clean push. The only caveat that I am now looking at going is, I said I don't want to see it go up at the beginning of the year. Okay, because what does that mean? It will come down by the end right? So I want to see this thing potentially pull back down, get down to these lower levels of 84. But if the market is pushing up, then we want to make sure that we're in it to win it here. So we want to stay long. You can see here on the 4-hour that 8-period moving average is holding the line here. You can see since Thursday on the 1st that it started finding its support here. You can see now it's starting to hold. That's on that 4-hour chart where the 8 periods. And next time we pull back, we want to get in long. If you're looking to day trade this, be making sure you're getting in. Again, it's not financial advice. This is what I would do. You can see that there's a trend being built on the 4-hour. Now, the biggest thing to pay attention is if we see huge Mariposa candles, which is the big candles like this consecutively pushing up, then you want to be kind of fearful. But what we're looking for is something like this: a couple pushes up, come back down, consolidate, wait for it, push back up, boom, see it come back down, find some support. And we don't want to see any parabolic move. We want to just see this type of movement. So as long as it's doing these type of movements with an increase of buyers, as you can see here, we're seeing increase in buyers here. You can see that it should continue up. Now, where would be a potential turnaround point if we see a pullback? It's going to be roughly in these areas here that we've talked about. It's going to be that 96 to 930, as well as the 100 to 99. These are the areas that I'm looking at. And then you also have a back area. Now, I don't think that this is going to hold if we do get up to that 108, 107, because it's already been traded through previously. So this zone is weak. So these are kind of the areas that I would be looking. Now, if you notice, I'm regurgitating what we talked about back in October and November here, right? As the market started to descend, I thought we were going to push up and come down. So these are still the same levels that we're looking at, but in relationship to and pullbacks. Again, these would be areas that you would see go up to, pull back to that 8-period moving average on the 4. And also we want to start seeing on the daily that 8-period moving average. So it's kind of like one of the things I'm looking for. I want to see it pull back on the 4, the 8-hour, and the daily as we're pushing up, which would make it a decent buying area. Now, I've talked about this previous. If it goes up first, what must it do?
Head down at the end of the time period.
Exactly. So that's why I'm sitting there going, okay, Monday we went up, Sunday we went up, Monday. I have a proclivity to get ready to short. So where would we really see most likely the short come in? It's going to most likely happen around that 96 area, which is the 89 period moving average here, or that 99, which is the 100-day period moving average. We also have a zone, a daily zone sitting right here. So I don't know exactly where it's going to play, but again, that's where I'm looking to see a turnaround happen, for it to come back down to touch that 8 period. But you'll know it on the 4-hour and on the 2-hour if it starts to break moving averages here. So the biggest one I was pointing out is the 4-hour, but you could also use the 8 or the daily and the 8-hour. If you have that chart, you can actually put on the 8-period simple moving average and wait for it to kind of cross. But we want to see consolidating periods like that have demand as it consolidates. So that's about it in a nutshell, my friend.
Well, Pedro, it's the beginning of the month, and what I like to do is once again let everybody know that I am doing the old learning thing here, and excuse me, and like to point out that what Pedro just said, where the time period starts, it likely is going to finish doing the opposite. Excuse me, I didn't draw this out for December yet. I seem to be developing a little bit of a cold here. But anyway, what I've got in the box right here is the month of January, and we're going to be filling this in through January to see how it starts out here. The first week of January looks like it's going to be so far it's an up week. It's not guaranteed at all, but the first let's see, we're in our 6th day of January, so the first 7 days are on the upswing so far right now. But if 5th day, that's right, January 5th. So we got a little bit more time in this first 7 trading days of the month. But like we always say, the beginning of the month gives you a good indicator. It doesn't just come in and go, meh. That gives us really no good indicator for the month. But this one's starting on uptrends, which makes me think that the next month is going to finish on a downtrend. If you see the red arrow from the end of December, we were predicting a downtrend there. It didn't really do that, just kind of petered out during the holiday season, which is essentially the same thing, consolidation with low volume. But as we move into January, liquidity's back, and we're going to track the month here. You'll see me talking about it a lot because I'm teaching myself that. And then we'll be talking about it in the premium Space Lounge a lot, where I can just ramble about this stuff a lot and get our premium hours in. But looking for good stuff, and I'm going to be back in the trading mode, Pedro. I've had a couple of months off now, teaching myself other things. Been doing just a few demo trades, one of which is on right now, and it's in the money right now, so that's good.
Nice.
It's been on for a while, but like I said, it's demo trade, and it doesn't get real till you trade your own money. But I've been getting decent results in the demo trade, and now I'm gonna start out there with just a few bucks in the real world. A few bucks. Start out with those big trades of $25. Big. But learn, then risk your capital. Don't risk your capital and then learn, because then your learning will be loss of capital. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. Pedro Garcia says, "Let's go." A refreshing biotic Jimmy Kuyu says, "Cheap viewers on Streambo." Thank you. Thank you for the free engagement there on Twitch. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DYOR Live. Not a lot of you out this Monday morning here watching us, but thanks to you all that are. As always, Pedro and I do a daily 2-hour talk show about. It started out talking about crypto, but now we talk about all the markets that are really the day traded markets. They have the markets that are most liquid that people day trade, and those markets are Bitcoin, gold, silver, NASDAQ, S&P 500, crude oil, copper, all the major commodities, the major trading indexes. Then, of course, the major tech stocks like Tesla, Nvidia, and so forth. MicroStrategy. Speaking, Pedro, let's take a look at strategy here. They've been at their lows lately for a while. People given Michael Saylor some crapola, as they say. But just a little resurgence in Bitcoin, just a little bit here. And suddenly, all of a sudden, he's the industry darling and genius again. And it's only, we're only 5 hours or 3 hours into the Monday trading.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So let's check out MSTR here real quick. MSTR is just basically seeing a bit of a pump a little. We came down, tapped our area, didn't come all the way down to that 130 area or the 140, 130 area. I don't like this movement here, honestly. In all reality, we came up. We're just basically hitting that weekly 8-period moving average. We're not seeing any major volume come in here. You can see here, like it just came in. We're seeing a sell-off. So until we get above that 160 area, not looking for anything there. But again, I want to see again. It bounced off that 200-period moving average. I would like to see it actually bounce off of it. I want to see some consolidation happening in between that ones. If I'm looking to deploy my capital here, remember I'm looking to deploy a strategy here where I actually take MSTY and actually trade that MSTY, yield max. There we are. Here at these lower levels, I'm gonna see a split has occurred. Thank you. Cancel. So for me personally, like I'm looking to take part in MSTY here for myself. Again, this is an option strategy that pays you at a weekly, as of right now, a weekly dividend, right? And so this does eat away at your initial capital that you invest, but you're also receiving a dividend. So the point is if I can get in at a low area here on MSTY and then run it all the way back up at least to 50, if not even much further higher, I would love to see that. That's honestly what I'm looking to do. If we see a real pump in MSTR. So that's why I'm kind of waiting. And so we all know that if I'm expecting to see MS or not MBT, but Bitcoin, BTC to drop, I think we're going to see it drop, come back, pull back, and then go. That's really what I'm looking. If we can get above that weekly chart on MSTY and MSTR on that weekly 8-period moving average, and we start to show real volume, that's when I'm looking to deploy on the MSTY strategy. And so that's really what I'm doing. And hopefully we'll see. I don't plan on throwing billions of dollars, but I'm going to throw a little bit. I'm going to throw some size to it. So with that, I want to see it move. I want to see it go my way. And we're at the nice area. We are at the 200-period moving average on MSTR or MicroStrategy.
Who Pedro? Who runs the MSTY? Is it Mike? Is it Master, or is it Strategy themselves, or is this a totally different group that runs it?
Totally different group. It's Yield Max, MSTR. I believe, actually, to tell you the truth, I don't know. I don't know. I know it's a viable company though, because they are backed by FINRA. They're a real company. It's not like, it's a real system. It's a security, and so
obviously, if it's traded on the New York Stock Exchange,
yeah, absolutely,
it's regulated properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And so, but again, it's still risky. What I'm doing is risky here, but I mean, you're buying. I look at it like we can see it get back up. I mean, it's in at 30 or 20 bucks. If I can see it get back up to 100, and you're not going to need much with Bitcoin. I mean, that's basically halfway through Bitcoin. If Bitcoin was to get all the way back up to, if it gets halfway through it, that MSTY is going to jump from 30 all the way up to, what was that?
Pedro, briefly, I've got the TV on here. It gets Bloomberg going, and they're walking Maduro out to a helicopter. And he says he's not guilty of U.S. narco-terrorism charges. Now, let's just play this thought process out real quick while he's talking here on the N813FK. I wonder who's registered that to. If we knew, meaning the United States military, where he was sleeping in his house, and we built, apparently, just like what I saw down in North Carolina when I saw the replica of the Osama bin Laden house, we built an entire replica of his compound and safe room that he was in, and knew exactly where he was, down to which side of the room the bed was on. Do you think we haven't had every one of his communications tapped with intelligence officers, agents? We know the origin, like when they say, well, how do you know it's a drug boat? And Trump's like, well, we know. We just know, And they're like, you can't just, they're just fishermen. Oh, there's no families going, Dad was out fishing. We know everything about him. And Maduro says, I'm not guilty. And they're going to roll out all of his, they're going to probably have him on video, hidden video in his desk table. Like, yes, man, send the drugs to Miami. Yes, right now. Send speedboat. What? They blew up another one? Send another boat. Right. They're going to have him so locked up, it won't even be close. Won't even be close at all. It's going to be entertaining. But anyway, I saw that. I took the show aside for a second there because that was happening live on the screen.
I totally understand. Let's show it just real quick.
Oh, they switched over to just another talking head. Wah, 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 wah.
What's interesting about the whole entire situation is I'm really thinking what's next? Because if they're already doing it, like Trump doesn't like to just leave things that I think he's going to step into Mexico. I do. I think he's going to come in.
He has to. He absolutely has to.
Because
There's no way. We took care of. Sorry, we must have a small delay. I keep interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that there should be a major movement because he's already put a huge push in Venezuela. Seeing what we've seen actually happen in El Salvador and Argentina, right? With both of those presidents coming in and just saying, "No, with this drug stuff, we're done with it." He has support on that end, and so they're literally saying like, "Dude, let's just get rid of this." So Mexico and Brazil are kind of the last little holdouts, right? So a lot of crime in Brazil and in Mexico, in certain areas, there's a lot of crime. So if they sit there and they take out Mexico, the next level is legitly Brazil. And in both places, Mexico and Brazil, there's so many resources there that like, look, because we already know that a lot of that stuff, we already know because of BRICS, what's actually happening in Brazil. And that connection there with him and Xi is one of those things that is going to be, again, this is a fanciful statement, but it's the next logical statement if we're going to sit there and look at how far is he going to push this. And I think he's going to push this as far as he can until he really gets hammered by the rest of the world, where it's like, you got to stop this, dude.
There is no doubt that he, meaning President Trump, is going about this as a Western Hemisphere first strategy. And you hit the nail on the head there talking about resources. With Mexico out of the crime game and just being a normal country, and the countries of South America too, just getting rid of this 1950s revolutionary thing, like, oh my God, evil empire stuff, and getting out of the drug business. The natural resources in South America are amazing too. It's an entire win against China. It just buffers. We could be completely China free of needing natural resources and minerals if we just get our act together in our own backyard. Meaning the Monroe Doctrine has to come back here. And we messed up a long time ago when we started messing around with governments. To be honest, I'm going to say this, but it's in context of a war with the Soviet Union, the Cold War. We started messing around in Latin and Central America and South America. And everyone gives us a lot of, CIA went in there and did all this kind of stuff, blah, blah. It's all true. It's all true. I worked with a bunch of ex-CIA guys in my first armored vehicle job, and a bunch of them worked in South America. They're like, oh, that shit's true, man. And but this time, we're going about it differently. We're going about it from an economic advantage point, not a military keep the Russians out. We've learned our lesson in that, and I'm sure, because Mr. Trump seems to think with a business mind and in first, not really a military mind, even though he uses the military, says we need to use the driver of economic gain to get people to do what we want. And by removing Maduro and his messed up regime there, he says we're bringing in American oil companies. They have to. There's no one else that can come in and fix the infrastructure that they stole from us, from the oil companies when Chavez nationalized the oil industry, and it's been in decline. It's at 4% of the output as it was in 1999 or 2004. I forget what year it was that he nationalized the oil industry. And we get that fixed. Oil companies come in, people profit, their economy comes back, everyone's happy in Venezuela, all is good. They don't need the crime business. We'll keep an eye on the crime business, but they won't need it.
You're always gonna, I was gonna say you're always gonna have crime like that. That's never going away.
Well, as long as we're snorting that shit up our nose in the U.S., the coca's gonna come. You know, we're just gonna make it more expensive. It's not like we tried putting everybody in jail for it. That didn't work. All we did was put people. They got those harsh laws, and a guy would have like this much cocaine, and they'd be like, "Oh, life in prison." We're like, "No, that's not the point of this." And So now we're trying to go after the supply, and that's definitely going to work. It's going to drive the price up a lot. It's not going to stop it. But it may eliminate the narco state. And if we can eliminate the narco state, then our Western Hemisphere will benefit and be a better buffer against China, because we'll have all the natural resources we need for the new digital economy coming up.
Well, I also put it like this as well, and I think it's really important to understand the mindset. So my cousin went to college and got her, I believe, degree in, or I think it was minor degree in Mexican history. And she was talking about what was so interesting was, she was human resource and was very liberal in college. Now she's out and she's she now works for a startup, right? And she's just like, we just need to be more efficient and fire people who are not pulling their weight. Like, it's just that simple. She's just like, goes, from a bleeding liberal to like, look, there's lazy people out there, and if they're not pulling their weight, it's time for them to go, right? And I was so shocked. I was sitting there listening to her, and so she was talking about what was so interesting. She's not pro or against Trump. She wants efficiency in the economy. She's really like, she's just become a great person. She's a great person all around, but she's really starting to see things from just like in the working field, right? She sees things and she's just like, wow, I see it. And so what was interesting was is that she goes, in Mexico, one of the biggest issues that they really see is they really do kind of have a victim mentality. And it stems from their loss in the Spaniard and Mexican War, as well as, or not the loss, but they won the Spaniard and Mexican War. But then America came in and took over took over everything. And so there was like this, like, wait, what happened? And because of that, their current king/president, right, went through and just kind of gave things up to America because they really didn't. He wanted to keep his life. And so the Mexican people kind of lost.
They were broke too.
They were extremely broke, exactly. And so there was this moment where there was almost a victimization of just like, oh, there's something we can do. We just got rolled over or we just got rolled over. And that's almost bled through the generations. And so what she was saying, and this is getting to the point of it, is that if you could bring real wealth to middle class, like, hey, look, you can actually get ahead on your own and start businesses without the drug cartel or some form. And if Trump was to allow people to be able to get ahead outside of the drug cartel in Mexico, it would revolutionize. Obviously this generation there, the older generation would have a little bit of a hard time, right? Because that's all they kind of ever known in a sense for over the last 50 years. But imagine this young generation sitting there going like, wait, we can.
Exactly. Right.
And then all of us, on all of
guys, Sicario is not going to come whack me.
Exactly. And more importantly, I can sell and do business with America. And yeah, they may charge me a fee, but man, it's just so much more prosperity that I actually could enjoy. Totally agree on that. On there, Pedro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're definitely going to talk more about this here today because Pedro and I haven't talked in a while, which means we got lots to talk about. Anyway, but it's probably have some new viewers or something like that. But one of the things I really like to do is read the ads. I really like to read the ads, and I'm going to bring back an oldie but goodie here with Pedro and drop you off here for a minute while I get my coffee all set up here. Oh, I gotta hit the refresh button. Ladies, oh no, offer doesn't. Why doesn't this work? Oh. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you still not tried 1775 coffee? That's right. Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit is dropped. They made only 1,000 of them. You got to get yours now before they run out. When you buy this package from 1775 Coffee, you get 3 things in it. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits you hard. You're getting the smooth medium roast, and you're getting the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash. Nope.
They're all single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also getting my favorite, a gold spoon clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. You're getting a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. You also get a black 1775 tumbler. You get $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for 99 bucks. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blew up right here on DYOR and on the big green channel here. Wondering, is it actually worth it? Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Pedro and I do. Ladies and gentlemen, over here, there's a QR code. Hold your smartphone up to that, click that QR code, put your eyeballs on our advertisers. We would really appreciate it. It helps Pedro and I out greatly. If you just give the advertisers an opportunity to sell to you. You don't have to buy it. Give them an opportunity. They will enjoy it. If you're watching on your cell phone, there's a little link in the chat. If you're watching on the replay, thank you very much. There's a link in the description. Anyway, thanks to 1775coffee.com for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live.
Speaking of that, so let's one of the things I think we could talk about as well is Ethereum. So we talked about before the break here that I was more bullish on Ethereum than Bitcoin, simply because of what was actually happening within the chart. And so we closed last week above that 8-period moving average. And in addition, we're starting to see, we saw volume come in on the 8th, right? Like if you look at, or not on the 8th, but on the weekly chart here. And so watching that starting to step in, and already this week seeing volume step in as we're moving forward is one of those ones I'm kind of like, let's pay attention to this. You still have the 8, I mean, we still have the 189 and 100 period moving average, but we're showing strength as we're coming up. So again, I'm waiting for that pullback to kind of come in. You can capture this trade all the way up to that 33, 36 area. I don't think we're going to come back down as far, but again, we'll wait and see. But my biggest thing is this: we're moving up and we're coming up into this area here of that 33.89 to that 33.99 area here, with the 89 and 100 period sit above us on that daily. So this is where I'm really kind of excited about to see what really takes place here with it as it goes up, because when it pulls back, we want to see a good pullback with less volume as we see it pull back. And then I want to see this thing just crush it, because again, there's really nothing stopping it except for moving averages, which is still big. They're dynamic zones, but in the same sense, there's really nothing stopping us from hitting all-time highs, which is and those are moving out, and those are just moving averages. So those are strong, but they more act as dynamic moving zones. And so that's what I'm fingers crossed. I want to see Ethereum kind of push up as we start to push up at the beginning of the year. But again, I got to throw this out. We're going up at the beginning of the year, so that's not the best thing. So, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of time frames at the beginning of the year to look at here. There's the daily, there's the weekly, there's the monthly. We don't know where a lot of those are going to end up. So there's a lot of information to come out in the next 360 days, 359 days. Before we get to that 2 years in a row, you called 200,000 plus for the end of the year in Bitcoin. But both times the market went, no, sorry, we're not doing that.
Yep.
It's all right, but that doesn't really matter. It's weird though, because a lot of your shorter time frame predictions pretty much all kind of came into play.
Yeah,
and I think your yearly one had a little bit more hopium in it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing I'll put in, right? It's on a day-to-day basis, it's easier to make corrections versus, like I said, calling the monthly chart is very hard. Like you can imagine, you do it now. It's very hard. It's not something you can just get right? So it's and then the fact is that I've done pretty good. I mean, last year alone, when we talked about crude oil, the dollar, which we still need to do, we're going to go over that stuff here. But what I expect to see with the dollar, what I expect to see with crude oil for the year, what I expect to see with the bonds. Our bond trade did really well last year for the 10-year, right? From the sell-off down to here. Not as good of the bounce up from there, but it was still fairly decent. We saw it come down to the area. I was expecting it to hit that 101 or the 120, the 120 area to the 122 area. We got about halfway there, pulled back. So it was just, not exactly, didn't happen exactly the way I said it was going to, but if you followed us every single week, at least you would have seen that pretty good calls on it. When you look at gold, we called gold going up to 3,500, it hit 40, 4,400 altogether. We talked about silver, which was sitting around that, I think it was $30, go all the way up to 60, by the end of the year. So I think that was a good play that we talked about. Just
Look at that chart. Look at that silver chart. That's what they call not normal.
Yeah. I mean, we called it back here, right? Of it pulling back down to this 27, 26 area, and then we saw it push up, right? That was one of the ones that we talked about last year. The previous year, we talked about it coming back down to that 17, 18 area, which is what it did. And then I said, around that time, I said this is when we need to start talking about the gold to silver ratio and how that works out. The gold to copper ratio. One of my biggest plays that I'm looking at this year is really copper, right? I expect to see copper again, so really skyrocket hard. We're already watching copper get to $5 again. So it's going to be one of those ones. I think, and the reason why I'm saying copper is really from more of a fundamental standpoint. I do think that we're going to see a lot of industry picking up, even if Trump gets pushed out of office, right, or whatever. Make America Great Again is not stopping. Besant isn't. Besant is. I could see, honestly, Biden, or not Biden, but the Democrats wanted to rehire Besant, because they're not doing a bad job. It's making America great again. It's this, as you said, the Monroe Doctrine, right? Like this idea of the strong America, not this passive like global America, but like, bro, like we're done playing games. Like we've been nice, but y'all haven't played nice with us. So, hey, shit's turning. It can go.
Bro,
you are coughing up. What's going on?
I started getting a little bit of a cough yesterday, and I didn't think it was anything until this morning, and I was like, it's irritating the old throat. I might be getting a cold.
Go grab some. Do you have any ginger? Go grab some ginger real quick.
I have some ginger ale.
No. Go get ginger. Go get ginger. Like you will help you immediately with the inflammation, everything else. It will just help. Like literally, don't you have a store up the road?
Literally, 30 seconds away.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it would maybe take you 10 minutes to go there.
Like ginger, like a powdered form, or like sliced, like you're gonna put it on your sushi or your California rolls, or?
Oh no, just raw ginger. Just go get some raw ginger, like a raw ginger root, and just you're not gonna like it, but your body will. And so your
Pedro's potions have not let me down yet, so I'll go do that.
On the back end, as I'm looking at this market, though, I'm definitely seeing like copper starting to take off because everything that's happening with building within America, not necessarily China, right? So this is, again, another thing. I was listening to a few other people, and they're literally saying, like, you don't understand, like, what Trump is trying to do is, if he can pull it off, they say by second quarter 2026, shit will start to hit the fan in a good way.
Yeah.
Like 1980s, like Top Gun, like, let's go. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger and what's his name, Sylvester Stallone, right? Like like guns a-blazing, and fun-loving, gentle liberals. I feel bad for y'all, but this is not going to be your era, because this younger generation has gotten pissed off. I was reading an article about the young male. It was written by a liberal individual, and literally they were saying how they're shocked that this younger male generation is starting to go more, as well, I'm not going to say what they said, but become more conservative. And,
Right.
And I was like, but what do you expect? I mean, you vilify the black male and the white male, and now they're coming together. You vilify them being masculine, and so they're almost like, well, we are now going to go to the gym, shut our mouths, and like push women away.
Oh, you sat on your mic. Oh no, your internet connection died. Hold on. I gotta reroute your sound here like I did before. All right, we should have you now.
So what I thought was interesting is the individual is saying how more talk is becoming more toxic, and that women feel fear for their life. And there's a certain sect of women. What was the term that they used? Basically, these women are willing to date rapists and horrible men on the right, for looks and driven men. And I'm like, but that's nature. Like you get that, right? Like I wanted to type down at the bottom saying that's nature working. You get that, right? Like
you're never gonna stop that.
Like it just, you're not, no matter how much you vilify a strong male, it's just nature for a female to want a strong male who is heterosexual, And I almost wanted to type in, you know that where the greatest divorce ratio is, right, in regards to the sexes.
No, I do not. Even though I have a lot of experience in this.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Lesbians. And then the next one is male.
Well, I'm sorry, you clipped out there. What was the first one?
Lesbians.
Oh,
female marriage, and then you have I hate to use the word or male female, and then the least amount of divorces in any gender is male and male.
They're like, screw it, I'm off the market, I'm happy. No drama.
No drama, everything, which I thought was very interesting. I was like, because I saw a comedian talk about it, and I was like, that can't be true. Sure enough, yep. I was like, Jack. Well, here's the thing, you really don't know, because now, like, all these things, right? Like, if something goes viral, come on, restart. But I think this is really interesting is that idea of this generation is becoming much more conservative. I mean, we literally, potentially for the next, 15, 20 years, there's going to be a conservative movement. But what I like about it is I don't think we're going to see like the 80s douche, right? Like, he's a dick, right? Like, I think there'll be
Bill and
more,
Ted.
Yeah. No, not Bill and Ted. I was thinking about
Fast Times. Fast Times.
Yeah. But like I think what we'll see is a generation that is sensitive to the needs of everybody. I really hope so, that this next generation comes in and is just much more gentler, like caring towards. I mean, I remember when they used to pick on gay people for no reason except for just being gay, which was like absolutely atrocious. I remember this one kid in high school picked up a sandwich and threw it out. A friend of mine, he was gay, and I remember. I was a yoked up dude in high school, and so like I was like, bro, what is wrong with you, dog? Like, we grew up with him. Like, why are you gonna do this? It's not cool. Like, and so I just pray there's much more gentleness, but a conservative movement for productivity, and I'm just talking now, but
we're waiting for Pedro's internet connection to come back. And there hasn't been a lot of news. But Pedro, on the news thing, let's talk about how the oil markets reacted to Venezuela doing it. Well, we don't have your charts right now. Just go into the what happened to the markets. What's the expectation short and long term?
Yeah. So short term, we should see a small spike because they have a large portion of oil. They have I think they have the largest oil reserve in the world there, even more so than the actual Saudis. Now, why are you? Doesn't make sense.
I heard. Go ahead.
On the big part though is as we're watching this actually happen, right? We should see a bit of a sell-off where we see the market kind of fear of, but as it's kind of selling off a little. You would expect, though, now that I hate to say America's in charge of that, sooner or later, that's what's going to happen. Is we're going to put in an American-centric government there, and then in that same sense, we should start to see the market either push up with production or just a stabilization, and then because it should sell off, go up a little. And then sell off again, and we should have low pricing in crude oil, because we won't be determined. Either cable isn't. What do you mean it's not plugged in? It is plugged in.
Since all of you here, bro, we can max when now.
That's all right.
What's up, steamy cakes?
That's just really interesting. Like how literally, as soon as I start to talk about these things, it always feels like my insane like shuts down. Right, like it's kind of mind-boggling how it works, but I think that's what we could expect to see in regards to the market, where from a short term see a small spike, long term see a stabilization, and honestly, we could put the screws to the Saudis and say, hey, we don't need you. Like we now have Venezuela in a sense, right?
You know who didn't play their cards well in all of this? Canada. Canada is about to get screwed left, right, upside down, and turned around. Because it turns out, and I didn't know this, but I knew that Canada, Alberta oil, is a special, it's a heavier oil. In Texas, we got the light crude, West Texas Intermediate, and we have light sweet crude. In Alberta, they have the bitumen and other heavy oils. That are really good for a lot of things, but not good for other things. In Texas, their oil's good for some things and not good for other things. So when countries say, oh, we have oil too, it doesn't really mean we have the same oil.
Right.
Guess who has the same oil as Canada?
Our boys up down south now.
Venezuela. And yes. Canada said, let me do that. The liberals in Canada and the Democrats in the U.S. said no to pipelines. We don't want no pipelines. We're moving to an all-electric future. We don't have any idea how we're going to power that electric future, but we're moving to an electric future. And so currently, as you well know, but the audience may not know, oil that comes out of Alberta trades at a discount to the market because they can't get it out of Canada cheaply or efficiently. They need more pipelines. They don't need more train loads of it. That's not efficient at all. They need pipelines. They need a port in BC, or they need 2 more giant pipelines to Houston. Now, what is a short cruise in a big effing tanker from Houston and refineries? Venezuela, all of a sudden, and they have ports, they have boats. I think your internet connection has come back, Pedro.
Yep. Yes.
And all of a sudden, we're going to be getting all this cheap oil out of Venezuela fairly soon, probably in like 2 or 3 years once they get the infrastructure running again there. And about that time, we won't need Alberta's oil. Well, we'll take what we can get from them, but the world's going to be using more, and we won't be getting more of it from Canada. We'll be getting more of it from Venezuela, and Canada will be screwed. They'll be racing to build pipelines. Their economy is going to go further in the tank. And you know, I'm in Chicago right now. I do half my shows from Canada, and I follow this extensively in the Canadian politics. And the current government is going to pay the price unless they just say, screw it, forget the whole anti-crude oil thing. We're going to need to do this because the province of Alberta, when they make money, the whole country makes money because they have in their charter of rights, but not rights. They have this thing saying, hey, one province can't be rich and the other poor. You have to have equalization payments. So Alberta takes a lot of their profits and sends them to the provinces that are poor, like Quebec. You would think, how can Quebec be poor? They've got 10 million people living there. Because Quebec
has no resources.
They get a lot of their infrastructure for free. They get their hydro for free. They get electricity for free. It's not free, but it's very inexpensive because that you're like, geez, how could they sell all it to the United States? They sell it to other parts of Canada. They have a lot of benefits there, and they don't like to work so much. So, and they have an expensive healthcare system. So they rely on those payments from Alberta just to keep their economy afloat. And those payments are going to be in jeopardy because the American oil companies are going to be involved in Venezuela again. They're not going to be involved in Canada. They're saying, we can get all this stuff cheap again. We can get South America going just like our boys did in the 80s, and we made tons of money. And we'll satisfy all the needs. This is also a thing, is that Venezuela, while they don't work right now, and it's hard to restart refineries properly, it takes a long time, they have refining capability there. So they don't even need to send all of the oil to Houston. We can send some of it. And then once they get the refineries online, which takes even longer than that, you can refine it right in Venezuela. And Canada is out.
Well,
out.
How far? I mean, isn't it like...
As the Canadian in the room says here.
How far is it from Venezuela to Florida? Because we know that we have decent amount from the north west. You have, Alaskan oil. We know up in the northeast. What is it? Where do we get it? I think we get it from Canada.
Sorry, we've got a new viewer, PJERV, or PGERV, or PJERV. Yes, I totally agree with you. I broadcast. Like I said, I'm in Chicago, married a Canadian, so I also spend a lot of time in Ottawa. And the Frenchies there, they befuddle me. They do. They say one thing. They're like, we are our own country. We have our own prime minister and parliament. And then they say, we need all the money from the other provinces because we can't survive without you. We joke about it a lot in Ontario. Trust me. I don't know where you are, PJERV, but welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
So I think he nails the idea. Like, and this is huge. So remember how we were talking about 55 being like before, and we had talked about this last year. I expected crude oil to get down to 55, right? 55 to 45. And everybody was screaming that to have it at 45, it would not make it profitable to be able to mine it. But I said, our people are so efficient. I know that they could do it. Like, there's no, that's one thing about the free market is they figure out ways to be profitable. Right.
Right. That's why it's called the free market. You know, you got
Exactly.
29 people trying to figure it out. Ka-ching's in the house. Sounds like a community in Minnesota. Hey, free daycare. Hey, Ka-ching, did you see? You can't make this shit up. That the Somalian ambassador to the United Nations, he lives in the U.S. In fact, he lives in Ohio. He's the chief administrator for a daycare center in Ohio. You can't make this up.
He's a
You
millionaire.
can't make this up.
An absolute millionaire.
Pedro, welcome to the show from Vancouver.
welcome to
Really
the fam,
appreciate
man.
it.
Welcome
A lot
to
of
the
viewers
fam,
come from that part of Kanukistan, as I call it. Good luck with your homeless and drug problem on the streets there. Although I hear that they're putting some money into cleaning it up and moving everybody to a different street. But the missus and I were out there recently in Vancouver. Had a great time. Stayed at the Westin down on the harbor. Watched for I had never been there. Watched the planes taking off in the harbor, the Sky Harbor, whatever the name of that seaplane business is. And I sat there and looked out my window and I said, "Man, don't these things ever crash into each other or into boats and stuff?" And then literally someone else said, "No, we haven't had a crash in 90 years or something like that." The next week, planes taking off, bam, right into a boat. Oops. Sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, Pedro. We're your chart's back up and running, I guess, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. I want to talk about this. So we should see. I did say see a small, quick bit of a sell-off, then a push up with crude oil because the unstableness within what we're going to see in Venezuela, right? We should start to see a push in price, but then as everything gets stabilization, and I want to add this to what P-Gerv is talking about. Dude, that sounds so weird. PG, or I'm gonna call you. I'm just gonna call you.
It's you want to say perv, but you're just
Yeah, I know. That's what I keep saying. Like I'm not gonna call you perv. I'm just gonna call you Big V. All right. Big V is BV is very correct. Like in the same sense as we could push this down to that $43 mark. Now, again, if we were to get a $43 crude oil, do you understand the price drop in goods and services? And then if we have if Trump is able to do this, again, I want to add this. I am not pro-Trump, but I am pro-America. And I want to see America be the badassest nation in the world because I live here. And when we prosper, typically we make other people prosper in a sense, right? If they're our friend. We're always going to be the bully. I'm just being honest. It's just part of being an American. But it's better than having a China as bully. Just ask Africa, okay? Like, that's all we gotta say. Just ask Africa, right? And they wish they wouldn't have done business with China. But in the same sense, we could see if we saw this drop down to that 40, like 43, 33. I don't think we get to the 33. That'd be nuts. That'd be a heartache. But if the markets.
Let's say Mr. Gervais points out that the U.S. price is $55 a barrel to break even, which is a little high right now.
Right. But here's the thing. If we start to see production other places around the world, which other people, because what happens when you start to see other people produce stuff? You want to do it. You want to take part in that, right? So you're going to see other companies come in. We're going to have there's a reason why it's called the petrodollar, right? I don't think that we're going to see I honestly think we could see a 43 on the price, like on the price chart. Like this is the reason why. Look, like there's just a lot of money down here. We could see it come down here and bounce between that 55 to 43. Now, here's the thing. You're like, wait, what would happen to America's production? Well, if America's production was to go be sent over where? Venezuela.
Right.
And all of a sudden, Venezuela becomes like a little Cuba, right? Back in the late 70s.
Ooh.
You know, or excuse me, early 70s, right? Where it was, I'm just saying, like, look at things. It very much could be, and all of a sudden now, you know, you may be out in Texas or wherever, but you're like, you know, we could reestablish, buy out of all this stuff over here, and then reestablish a new headquarters over there for crude oil. This is one of those things that I'm looking at that going like, potentially, you know, we could see some stuff populate there, and then hence, you know, like I said, I don't think we get it down to, you know, 30, but you know, the low cost in Venezuela, and with what we're seeing with the light crude oil in Texas, we could see a balance of, let's say, 45, potentially 43-ish. Like, you know, like, just being honest. So I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just, the way I'm looking at it from a more of a, like, a business standpoint, because we know efficiency is what the free market brings, right? Yes, you're going to see a bunch of lobbyists fighting over this, but with the
It's gonna be brutal. The oil lobbyists are suddenly like, oh my God, it's been dry for years. Now we can make some money. Ever since that Keystone pipeline went in the tank, they've been doing nothing. And now they're like, woo, 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 making the monies. Here we got the Maduro motorcade going on here.
PV. Patrick Gervais. Oh, Patty. I like, bro. Patty there.
Yes, Patrick Gervais, and he says, I'm not French. Oh, but you have a French name.
We'll call you Pierre. Pierre Gervais.
Trust me, Patrick. We joke about the French in Quebec a lot. And they're right. I mean, from where I broadcast from in Ottawa, I literally can see Quebec. Like, can see Quebec, and I'll be going skiing there next week and all this type of stuff. But we joke about them because they're really funny. They're like, we are different. We are different. And then they get in their Chevy, go to McDonald's, go to Home Depot. We are not the English. We are French. I'm going to McDonald's now and go to Home Depot.
Well, also, let's just throw this up. But you just remind me of when you said that. Remember Paulin? What's her name? The vice president or runner for vice president for is it McCain?
Yeah. It's from Alaska.
Yeah. Remember, she's like, they asked her about
Sarah
policy. Sarah Paulin, that's what it was, Sarah Paulin. And remember when they asked him, what would you do with your international policies with Russia? She's like, what are you talking about? I just look outside my window and there's Russia right there. And I'm like, oh, bro. Like, you're like, I just look out my window and I can see Quebec from here.
Patrick Stefanik in the house. Wait, isn't Patrick Vancouver also? Isn't he also a Vancouverite?
I think so well.
Patrick, aren't you a Canuckastani? I think so. I think we got two Canuckastanis in the house today, or at least two. Usually we own Crypto Mike's in the house. Manitoba represent.
Manitoba, bro. They come and dude. These guys, man. You guys are taking over, man. You Canadians, man. Hey.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, on the show today. Really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Everyone, you guys rock. You know what's really interesting I find is that when I look at, for whatever reason, I'm not getting an update on our. Oh, that's why. Oh, let's do that. I don't see Patrick Stefanik in. Is he on YouTube or is he
YouTube?
Oh, Patty, come check out Rumble, man. Come on over to Rumble. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Gervais, how did you find us? We always like to know when we get a new viewer, like to know how you found us. So let us know.
Let us know.
And on the Somali note, Tim Walz didn't get enough bribery money this time, so he's dropping out. He's not going to run for a third term. He says, I'm done with being the butt of some of the best memes out there. Those Tampon Tim memes. They're endless. They're just so endless.
Dude, he got roasted. Because here's the thing. Again, like, these guys are sensitive to people's plight. This generation is sensitive to people's plight, right? But they are ruthless on their memes. Like, and nobody is safe. I hope one day I can get some ruthless memes on me, dude. I had a friend of mine. He's now a billionaire, which is cool. And he is, which I find really cool, is he has a whole entire, he's building an online community. It's pretty cool. He helps people close big deals. That's really what he's doing. But he himself closes big deals, and they're real, out in Dubai and all over the place. He's a good guy, really good guy. But I saw this meme. I was on Telegram, and I was looking for a type of meme because I wanted to send off, and I saw him going, "Let's go!" And I was like, bro, so I took a screenshot and I said, "You're a meme, dog. Look." And somebody made a whole entire panoply of just him going because sometimes he does this, and so they had a double donger of him going. It was so good, dude. And he's just but it was also him of all these other.
One of the ones of him dancing with the Somalis. Oh my God, it was priceless.
Nobody in this generation will get out of memes. If you start to become a small celebrity, you're gonna get memed out. And especially if you just make it too good for people not to make fun of you, dog. That's it. People are just gonna rip on you.
I was watching one. I don't know. It wasn't Fox News. Might have been Newsmax or News Nation. One of the two. Newsmax is a fairly right-wing conservative. News Nation is somewhat balanced. Yeah. But they were going over the counties that helped Tim win the election.
Yeah.
And a lot of in the counties where the daycare fraud is happening, he won the election.
He won very bigly.
And in the counties where he did not win, it turns out there's not even a single Somali-owned daycare.
Oh, really? It was that.
Yeah, it's that black and white. And so they've determined, they were talking about in the news, they said essentially the 80,000 Somalis, which were imported, like we talk about on all sorts of other problems in Canada and in the US, and they don't have to be citizens to vote. Remember they had that loophole there, the driver's license loophole? And they obviously voted for Tim because he won those counties in which they have the fake daycare things. I'm in Illinois now. We had those problems too, and a whole bunch of kids died on a school bus because of the corruption from the governor. And fortunately, the U.S. attorney took care of that and sent the governor to the joint. Remember, we had 2 governors in a row go to the joint, not 1, but 2 in a row, and 5 out of 8. So we have our issues here too. Let's see. I bet the Waltz announcement make Jacob Fry. Is he the mayor of Minneapolis? I think is that.
He's the guy who cried, right? On no. I'm sorry. I'm getting mixed up with Justin Trudeau.
Hey, I got to give Trudeau some props. We all thought when he got out of office, he was going to announce that he was now dating someone, and it was going to be a dude. We all thought, or a trans. I'm not going to say the whole world because we'll get killed on. There's something odd was coming out of it because his wife up and left real quick. Oh no, got to get out of this.
We done.
While he's in office, which is rare. It's the only other leader that's happened to recently is Putin. She just kind of disappeared.
She more disappeared. I was gonna say.
But he comes out and he dates Katy Perry. I'm all right, gets himself a female astronaut. All right.
Dude, you know what's crazy is she is. I had a friend of mine who saw her in real life. She is, I guess she's smoking hot, stupid smoking hot.
Who?
She's Katy Perry, absolutely smoking hot, in real life.
All I've ever seen her is with their super makeup on.
Yeah, she's really beautiful, just how some people are just beautiful with no makeup. He saw her, and it was a trip because he sat there and he's like, dude, guess who I just saw? I was like, who? He's like, Katy Perry. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was roughly after she got done with her Blue Origin thing. I have a friend of mine who works. Anyways, so I have a couple friends of mine who work over at Blue Origin. And I actually tried to reach out for Jack, just so you know.
Thank you. Striking Jr.
Yes. Ooh, yes. And never really got back because a couple of them had just started because they were really looking to, they were really hiring and stuff like that. And so they didn't want to push, I guess, what they were trying to do. Anyways, long story short, though, they saw her, or he saw her and was like, dude, she's cute, like legit. But the only problem is, he goes, you can tell she's got crazy eyes, crazy walk. Like it's like very evident, the way she's like, hey guys, how you doing? Like, and I literally thought to myself, I was like, yeah, I can deal with it. It's all good. And so Justin Trudeau, bro, good job, man.
Oops, that's the wrong one. wait, no. Let's be clear on that. Good job with the dating scene, not good job.
Oh yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Everybody knows
it was a
that.
disaster. Oh, fun times.
Now, here's the other part I wanted to bring up, because we never really talked about this. We were off and on quite a bit. But what I thought was really interesting was that Mexico, along with America, is raising tariffs. I know this is going to side note everything we were talking about, but we didn't talk about this. Mexico, their president is raising tariffs with China as well as on India, which I thought was really interesting. We didn't talk about it. I saw that, and I was like, it was something that I wanted to bring up, because it was like when she raised it, and then Trump reached out to her and said, "Hey, you want me to help out? Like, we can take care of this." Part of me was almost like wondering, is he like, are they buddy? Like, is there this, secretly like a handshake going like, no, don't step in.
Right.
Like, please, no.
Right.
Don't come.
Right. Don't bring the whole Marine Corps at 12:01 a.m. on the 5th in Chihuahua or Sonora. Don't do that at all.
Yeah.
My Crypto Mike says, can we trade Justin for a puck bag? No. The puck bag industry would probably be unhappy.
Very unhappy.
I don't even think Justin played hockey. How can they have a leader of Canada that doesn't play hockey? I mean, even Carney plays hockey. I don't necessarily agree with even a single one of his policies. But he plays hockey, so you're like, all right, he's all right.
All right, so one of the things I also want to bring up on my end is Polymarket announces plans to launch real estate prediction markets, allowing users to predict future home prices, which I thought was really interesting, right? Like coming out with this idea of sitting there saying, now, we know that Polymarket sucks at predictions, like at large. They're not good, right? But what I thought was interesting, though, is there are starting to become derivatives that are actually coming out of Polymarket. People are betting on the bets themselves. So I'm almost like wondering, what's going to be the nuance here with that, and if it does, is the SEC going to get involved with these type of things? Are they? Because I hope they don't. I think let the free market work it out, and basically, if it fails, it fails. Because ultimately, if it's wrong, it's going to fail. So part of me is wondering, will the SEC just let it just kind of happen, or are they going to get involved? Now we know that SEC. What's the guy's name? The Gensler. Why am I forgetting his name?
Paul Atkins. We know that he is pro crypto. He thinks crypto is pretty awesome. So I think maybe he'll allow it, but also on the back end, if it starts to get out of hand and we start to see kind of things just kind of go too far, I expect to see him to kind of like, hey, you're making us look bad. Knock it off. So it's going to be really interesting to see what actually pulls from that. Any on the news on the Washington side, is there anything happening right now with Not so much, because everyone's just kind of filing back to Washington. Congress has been out for a while. The lobbyists have been out for a while. And there's a lot of those AI filler stories and stuff like that. But I have a little news that I've taken a new approach to passive income. You're really going to like this. I am now a Bitcoin miner. That's right. I'm a Bitcoin miner. I have this little device.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen the ads on social media. It's called the One-Shot Miner.
Oh yeah, I have seen those.
Yeah, I currently do 1 million hashes per second, and that's for me to win a block. Here it is. It's a 1 in about 2 quadrillion chance. The Powerball is 1 in 300 million chance. So I would be able to win the Powerball, like, we'll say a few thousand times before this is ever going to hit. However, it's a novelty item that for Christmas both me and Striking Jr. got. And it is a Bitcoin miner. I'm participating in a pool, not in a share pool, but just in a public pool to individually mine. I don't get like 1 cent here and 5 cents there and all that type of stuff. All I get is all or none. And it's advertised as your lottery ticket that renews itself every 10 minutes because the 10-minute blocks. And it's actually pretty cool because it's like a little Raspberry Pi type circuit board. And so you have to essentially put it together and then you have to program it. Configure it. It takes all of 15 minutes to do. But you going through the process, it's a nice little teaching thing. And it sits here all day. Its little screen gives me the prices of all the top cryptos anyway, kind of like our TradeWave app over there. And then when it's not doing anything, and when it's even a touch screen. It's crazy what they can make on these little things here. And then it's just a clock, just can be just a clock sitting on your desk, sitting there cranking through 1 million hashes. And there's companies out there that are doing, we'll say trillions of hashes. and I've got 1 million. Actually, I've got 2 of them because the Striking Jr. has one, so I got 2 million.
2 million.
Right. And that I am now officially a Bitcoin miner. But it sits up there with the prices. It's 94,000 right now. My trade is in the green right now. I'm up. I forget what tab it's on, but oh yeah, it's in my Canadian tabs. I'm up $422.
Chavez. Wait, isn't Chavez the name of the guy from Les Miserables? Sorry, ADD.
Hugo Chavez was the old leader of Venezuela.
What was the guy's name in Les Miserables?
I'm not going to be able to pull that one up.
Sorry, it's all right. My bad. My brain just went total left field there. Just so you guys know. I know you guys didn't see it at all. I'm actually curious. Chavez. That is...
Pedro, I think I'm going to do my ad reading thing right now while you do that research. Welcome everybody watching us on Rumble. Really appreciate it. One of my most fun things that I do is I know you guys are going to be like, oh, an ad, I'm going to tune off. Don't tune off. Wait. This is fun. We're going to learn. We have a new sponsor coming onto the show as soon as I get our over the holidays, our email expired, Pedro. I don't know if you noticed. And yes, I need to get that up. And hopefully by the end of the day, I'll have that, we'll just call paid for. But anyway, Augusta Gold, Augusta Precious Metals is going to come on as a sponsor down there where Michael Saylor's sitting on the footer bar there. We'll have Augusta Gold up there. But I'm going to take some time to tell you about them right now. Get you on mute there, Pedro. Did you know the biggest threat to your retirement is not something that's talked about much outside of our show and other places? Our increased longevity. That's right, we're living longer. It means your default retirement accounts here in the U.S., like IRAs, 401ks, and TSPs, may not suffice. If you have over $100,000 in your retirement account, get instant access to a free 2-minute report from Augusta Precious Metals that reveals the one step you can take to secure your financial future. Text SAFE, S-A-F-E, to 35052 today. If you watch this ad next week, we'll have a different thing for you, so we get credit for it. But anyway, Augusta Precious Metals, text SAFE, S-A-F-E, to 35052 for your report. I actually did this, ladies and gentlemen. I did that and got the report. It's legit. And I said to them, I said, hey, why don't you guys come on as a sponsor for the show? And they are. So sometime here in the next week or so, they'll be a sponsor of our show. But anyway, Augusta Gold, ladies and gentlemen, QR code over there. Put your eyeballs on our sponsors and take a pic. Hold your camera up. Take a picture of that. Really appreciate it. If you're watching on the replay, first of all, thank you. There's a description in the link down below. If you're watching live on your phone, in the chat, there's a learn more thing. Augusta Gold, text SAFE, S-A-F-E, to 35052 for your report. Thanks to Augusta Precious Metals for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. All right. Pedro, we're getting at the top of the hour, but I've got a lot of time here. We started late, and it's the 5th. This is our first show of the year. If you want to get some more hours in here, I'm good. Or if you got to go, just let me know.
All right. I'll probably leave at the top of the hour here, but I think what was really interesting is the idea of where was it? I just had it here a second ago. Chinese oil stocks fall on fears that the U.S. capture of Nicolas Maduro could disrupt China's oil access. Yes, very much. And you best believe, guess what is going to increase with that? Tariffs. Tariffs. Now, I have poo-pooed quite a bit on Trump's statement of $600 billion of income coming in, right? And then we go into the treasury, and I've gone over prices here, right, multiple times of it's really like 200 billion. It's not 600 billion, but China needs oil, and they've had a nice little partnership with Venezuela. So It's going to be really interesting. Are they going to partner up with the Saudis hardcore? Really interesting. Are they going to buy from us? The Saudis hardcore. Who are they going to go? Because they do import a lot of crude oil, right? And they could go to Putin. Putin has a lot of oil himself. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with China and what they're going to do. They're in a bit of a predicament. Their whole entire movement of silver and basically keeping kind of icing America out on silver production right now, which is kind of putting a halt on the AI production and movement. But then we just went through, and I think part of the Venezuelan movement of us kind of taking over is honestly kind of what happened with China and them pushing us or icing us out of silver production or buying out silver. So it's going to be really interesting to see, like this cat and mouse game is getting pretty crazy. Who's the cat? Who's the mouse? I don't know. But watching China and China and what's actually happening there is really, really peculiar. Now, on the back end, we know that if I was Trump, we've talked about earlier in the show, look at the BRICS nations, right? Large portions of the BRIC nations use what? Crypto. And when they buy crypto, what do they have to buy? U.S. treasuries now.
Yep.
Right? They're buying and apparently buying U.S. treasuries, which is debasing what? Their own currency that they're trying to establish. So it's going to be really interesting to see as, this monopoly board here that's being played right now. America's starting to pick up, I hate to say it, and I did not see this. He might be, I've heard people saying he doesn't play chess. He plays 3D chess. Well, I mean, I didn't think it was that, but I mean, it's kind of looking it. You know what I'm saying? Like with what we're seeing with what's happening here is, it's going to be really, if he starts to come in and starts to mess with Mexico, starts to mess with, and he's already messing with India, right? We're already seeing him saying, look, hey, you don't want to take U.S. dollar. Well, okay. Well, and you're hoarding on the gold. You're saying you're going to work with gold. Well, we don't necessarily need to do business with you then, right? And so it's this whole entire juxtapose, because we are the ones that are buying. Now, here's the thing. We're seeing jobs leave America, or excuse me, come back to America, but we're seeing like local jobs around here kind of fall off. We're seeing jobs fall off the market. We're not seeing increasing in production of jobs, like in the millions.
Right.
We saw in the Biden's administration. But some big revisions we saw. But
Biden,
and Trump. But like in the same sense, though, is watching what we're seeing here with him and his movement. With trying to, if he can get jobs, again, I keep saying this, if he can get Japan to come in, even get a lot of these other nations to really push hard, and then in addition to that, through tariffs, really increase tariffs off of the newfound oil, like it's going to be really interesting to see, America could at least, in essence, do what what Canada is doing in a sense, right? Where, we could become a very wealthy nation in a sense by, think about it.
It's very possible. Very possible.
Look at Saudi Arabia, right? Like they got filthy rich. And
well, a bunch of them did and a whole bunch of them didn't.
Yeah, good point. But what I just think is interesting is watching here, kind of like the layout and see what's actually happening. I think the next 4 to 5.
Sorry, Mike. That's the best use of crypto, or I'm sorry, of emojis yet. He put a dumpster on fire in the Canadian flag, and he previously put American flag and green sirens for all his good things going on here, and then he puts dumpster fire for Canada. And he's Canadian. Well, he's in Manitoba.
Yes. What's interesting is you were talking about Quebec, right? Quebec is the primary company or the primary area that really produces that kind of. Am I understanding that correctly?
Their electricity. Yes. Alberta is the heavy oils.
Okay. So
a lot of sand, the oil sands type stuff.
Okay. So well, here's my question. If they have to keep paying for the other part of the country, and they pretty much keep getting screwed, what's to stop them to simply say, we want to be Americans?
Trust me, they talk about it every day. They talk about it every. Yeah. Oh, they passed a law saying that we're going to hold a referendum, a non-binding referendum, but just a referendum to see what people actually think at the voting box. And people sued, said, we're not allowed to even have those type of votes. And the Alberta Supreme Court said, you can vote. The vote's going to go ahead. Not to separate, but just to, it'll be a thing saying, hey, 80% voted for it, so, let's start the process.
Well, what's interesting, if that was to happen, and you're talking, it would be an internal revolution. Like, would there be an actual fight? Could they step away? Because they don't even own themselves, right? They literally are owned by the king.
That's a good point.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. However, the king is. They so underfunded the military in Canada. The military reports to the king, not to the prime minister, but they would be they're so underfunded, and they came up and said, we're gonna not only do 2% of GDP to NATO, we're gonna do 5%, like President Trump asked everyone else. So you know what Canada just did? They redefined what the word defense spending means. Oh, wow. Defense spending now includes anything that has anything to do to make the country more safe for anything. So vaccines. Defense against disease. Seriously. The trade minister, Minister Jolie, came out and said we're just redefining it. Because that's what Mark Carney does as the prime minister. Every time they have an issue, he redefines it, and suddenly they don't have an issue. They're like, well, the budget's a balance because we redefined the budget into A and B's been balanced for 40 years. So we're good. But you're like, no, that's not how this works. Anyway, and so defense spending includes building ports, which arguably, if it's dual use technology, if it's a commercial and military port, okay, I could see that. But cybersecurity for corporations, because they're the first line of defense, because Canada's military has no real good cybersecurity at all. It's small. So all these things now, suddenly their military spending is not only does it meet the 2% for NATO now, it's on its way to going to 5%. Without having to spend any money. And the actual soldiers gets nothing new, no new equipment, in fact they're trying to get out of buying the F-35s and buy the Swedish planes because they're like 1/10 the price. But the US is like, okay, if you do that, you're going to have your own refuelers and your own mechanics, and you can't share bombs and weapons and plans with us. You're on your own. Yeah. Like, goodbye. And they're still like, we don't want those evil American planes, the best plane to have ever been built in the history of airplanes. They're like, we don't want that. Those evil people that made those contracts are evil. We're like, well, it's your government, same procurement people, same military. Yes, Mike says, seriously, our government's such a dumpster fire. Anyway, go ahead, Pedro. Sorry to cut you off.
No, so isn't there also another initiative of Trump basically talking about how maybe Greenland might be Iceland. It was Iceland, right? That he is considering, and he keeps making narrative to protect.
No, it's Greenland.
Was it Greenland? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Greenland is Iceland and Iceland is Greenland. They purposely did that.
Right.
Yeah,
Confused everyone.
Yeah. Everybody goes to the Greenland and go, dude, this is all ice. Why is this called Greenland? So it's really interesting. Is that still being pushed, or because we know, didn't the prime minister jump off and basically say, hey, if you keep doing this, we're gonna, there's the dead cats, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Right.
But yeah, okay, I'm fine, Pedro. He's gonna take a quick break there. Yeah, great. No, with Greenland, it's in a unique spot to protect the northern approach coming out of Russia over the pole, and coming out of the other side, the eastern side of Russia too, over that part of the pole. And we have a base up there anyway, and the president is up there saying, well, we need to have the whole thing. And the guys in Greenland are like, hey, we'll lease you all the space you want. They're like, we got one thing we got is space here in Greenland. You can have all the space you want. We got a sub base up there. We have an old nuclear reactor buried up there for long-term sustainment. That's probably going to be a multi-billion-dollar cleanup one day here. We literally, the people in Greenland were like, you don't need to come and we don't need to switch sides. You can just, shit's cheap. It's just ice and rock. If you want to lease it and build infrastructure up there, fine, go ahead. We're good. But Trump's he's still pushing the narrative and on that. But one of the things with the Venezuela thing, what I really enjoyed was the picture of Mark Rubio sitting back in his chair like tired, listening something, and it said the quote was Mark Rubio realizing he's now the president of Venezuela.
Venezuela, yeah.
Yeah, the governor of Cuba, and one other one too, or something like that. It was really funny. It was really.
It's really interesting because isn't he Cuban?
Yeah, he's a Cuban descent, as they say. Like about half the people in Miami are of Cuban descent, and now Venezuelan descent. Like everyone that's wealthy in South America has a Cuban bank or a Miami bank account, and in residence there, condo or something like that, because they know all they need is one evil government, and they lose everything they have.
Yeah. Real interesting what we're actually seeing. It's almost, now here's the question that I do have. the idea behind that America's dominance now, it's starting to become very evident. Like, like we're really starting to, slowly we're putting the screws to a lot of people going, do you really want to push this? And we're not slowing down on tariffs. We're not like, there's a lot of countries that are now just kind of giving up the ghost and saying, okay, fine, we'll pay the tariffs because we can't handle the not having access to the American market. It's just, their economy is too much built on top of it, or they receive too much benefit from just working with other companies that push to the American market. Like, you may not push the American market, but part of your country produces XY material for the production of something that is sold in the American markets. And so it's really interesting to sit there and see that. And the reason I bring this up is because I kind of foresee a potential housing sell-off here coming up here pretty quick. And I mean, within the next, we're seeing a slowdown in jobs out here. We're seeing a slowdown in buying in the economy. And so watching this, happen, it's almost like, if for us it hurts, right? Because people are losing jobs and people are going to lose houses, but their way of life per se, like from a global or from a nationwide stance, isn't going to hurt that much, just being honest, right? Like, we're just not, because we house a lot of stuff inside America. And then when push comes to shove, you can go back and you can live with your parents. You may be 40 plus years old, but there is a house, you know what I'm saying? There is a house you can go to, and, if your wife or your husband still got a job, you can restructure, and those houses are going to get put up on the market. Plus, a lot of those houses that we saw that were bought were literally Airbnb houses that people bought in hopes, thinking that, people will always go on vacation. And that's just slowing down here in America. Now, not necessarily around the world, but here in America, very much so. And so we're seeing a lot of supply come onto the markets. Plus, people potentially could be losing houses, which would add more supply onto the market. Now, I know that, BlackRock is a buyer of single family homes quite a bit, but I don't think they could absorb that amount of supply, though, because we're already starting to see now a pickup of supply on the market in the real estate industry. So and I've talked about potentially, if Trump can't get the jobs going sooner than later, then we're going to see a real recession. We should see the housing market drop. We could see the S&P 500 fall apart. We could see the Mag 7s fall apart. Everybody knows that the Mag 7 right now, or the Magnificent 7 is what they call it, which is Google, Nvidia, Apple, all the tech stocks. They're not cash, they're no longer cash, rich. You know what I'm saying? They're starting to go into debt, a lot of these companies, so that they can keep up with AI and keep things going. They're not, they're blowing through cash to really come up with the AI. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here with everything that's correlated. So if we see, a lot of AI start taking over jobs, we start seeing other people lose other like finance jobs because the banks start laying people off because they see a downturn in the economy. We could see potentially kind of hit hard on jobs, which causes some pain in America, but extreme pain around the world, because they're the ones who are relying on us buying, and the rest of the world doesn't have the finances per se to buy what America buys. There's just the absorbing of all that supply just is. And this is why you saw China just slamming Mexico with a ton. They were trying to sell and push steel, China steel into Mexico so they could sell it up into America. And then, Trump put a kibosh on that, said,
not so fast.
And not say, hey. So watching this stuff happen, we could see a hardship happening here in the next 3 to 6 months if, again, like I say, he isn't able to really get things up and running just as quick as he wants. But here's the other part. If we start to see things fall apart, the rest of the world is really going to fall apart. And so, go ahead.
No, I just came off the cough button.
And so in the same sense, I just see things happening here that we could see a lot of things falling apart. Just understand that that is a potential way for you to actually get ahead, because you'll have crypto, honestly. And I really do see crypto, just seeing money getting funneled into crypto. The fact that we do a ton of tariffs, people bringing in, that would also help America to at least stay somewhat wealthy comparative to the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is still going to be selling us stuff for us to buy their stuff. So really interesting. We're interested.
Pedro, I think this is our first show of 2026. I have a feeling, we talk about the potential downsides, those parts of the economy that we're still concerned about, the job market, that type of stuff. We watch the bond market because it tells us that it looks into the soul of the government and what's going on.
Yep.
But I think that 2026, by the end of 2026, I have a feeling people are going to say, nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming. Or we saw that coming years from now, but can't believe that happened in 2026. I have a feeling, and I'm obviously biased because I'm an American here. But Trump's been putting so much effort in planting the seeds for all of this. And anything that he seems to be putting his mind to in this administration seems to be working. In the where he doesn't not working, he admits it. Like the other day he said, yeah, I didn't get it right. I thought Russia and Ukraine would be easy to solve, and it's not, and it's a mess. And I'm going to keep trying though. In the areas where he's not doing well, he admits it. In the areas in which he's doing well, he doesn't say, hey, oh, okay, that worked out. He gets up there and is like, wow, it's working great. And I have a feeling that this is going to be the year of America that people haven't seen since post-World War II, or since the wall came down in East Germany. Since World War II ended and our economy just exploded. I just have that feeling that all these seeds he's been laying are going to start percolating. And those things that you worry about, are these investments going to start to come to fruition? We're going to start seeing that in the construction market. I think when the construction market starts moving, unemployment goes down quickly. It's very quickly, because it's a very labor-intensive market. And I think this is going to be the year of the American. I really do. Obviously, a lot of... And trust me, I spent half my time in Canada with the wife here. I get the Canadian viewpoint of it. And I have to say, if this is the year of America, it can only be a banner year for Canada, too. If they just get their heads out of their fucking assholes. And get on with the program, and let's say, let's go. All right, our partner down below is this beast. It's moving, it's grooving. Let's just ride the train. Let's just ride the train. Forget all of our progressive liberal mumbo jumbo. We can still have those policies in the background, but let's just get out there and say, let's crank up the economy with the Americans. And if for some reason, Pedro, your concept of going into Mexico is right, and we do that too, and we can get all the maquiladoras down underneath the border down there in the U.S., running in sync with our economy instead of kind of just forwarding Chinese shit through it, but actually manufacturing stuff down there. It won't
become a manufacturer.
It won't be
China.
Right. And when I refer to it as the American year, we'll actually call it, meaning the U.S., I'll say it's going to be the American decade, meaning actual America, which is Canada, U.S., Mexico, and actually America, includes the whole
South
Western
America.
Hemisphere. Right.
Literally, South America.
We just stole the term American.
Yeah, the Americas.
Because like everything else, we got nothing else. What are we? We're U.S.tonians. We're we don't have another name for us. We're not Brits. We're not Euros. We're not the French. Every time I talk about the French, I have to do this. Smoke. Oh, Pedro, we've had a good crowd here today. We got some new viewers today. Really appreciate it. We actually had a lot of viewers over on Kick today. We've probably had 10 viewers come and go on Kick. A lot, and only some of them were spammers. So again,
Oh, awesome.
yep. But good crowd on I think we did a good job sharing it around today to get the viewership up. Thanks to everyone that watched today. I realize, Pedro, you got to get going here.
I do. You know, it's interesting to see. I mean, I don't know. I just look at the globe. If we could really get South America, North America to really get back to it would. But the thing is Brazil would be the hardest. You would have Argentina is pretty much going like it. I can see Argentina becoming, but El Salvador.
Hey, Chile just voted in for a new guy, conservative, got rid of the old socialist mentality that was taking over the country, just like Argentina did. They're like, we're tired of this socialist crap, and the crime was starting to get out of control in Chile, which didn't really have a crime problem because the old military guys there kind of put the brakes on that, but it was starting to come about. They had illegal immigration issues in Chile, believe it or not. And so they said, all right, forget this. We're going to elect this guy. So we're seeing a change in South America. And so the prediction at the end of this year, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be the year of the American, meaning the United States. And this decade, obviously predicting the whole decade is still got some time left in it. And the Democrats could really fuck it up pretty fast. And the administration could switch, and then all of a sudden we're all wearing colored wigs and calling each other they, and our productivity goes to zero.
Well, it's kind of the same, right? Things go to die.
That was epic. Oh, that was an epic flub there. Anyway, but let's finish off the show talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin moving up, Pedro. Moving and grooving up here in the day here. Looking good. Bitcoin. Hopefully this trend will continue up. The 5-day chart still looks like a bear flag on it. So don't get your hopes up that this is going to go. But Pedro, this we've been talking about for months. Coming back to the 95,000 area, which we're just shy of, and to the 100,000 area, which you have on your chart right there. I think it's going to hit it this time here. I think we've got a good shot at it. Clearing those out. There's a bunch of liquidity up at 104,000, I think. So the market is going to try and run up and get that, as it likes to do, assuming market makers don't ruin it. But generally, the liquidity is where big whales and market makers are. And hopefully we hit those levels before we see the next leg down, which you and I have been talking about 70,000s again. And
Yes. Well, the biggest key is that if we see a juggernaut of volume coming in, south of the border, is all off. You know what I'm saying? If we start to just see, isn't it just like institutions to just make everybody feel like crap and then just, get it as low as they can and then, and then just push it up to all-time highs. That is something that they would do is, 30%, right off the jump, shoot it all the way up, take it all the way to the top. If not, say 150, 200,000 BTC, and then just sell it off again, back down to 75. You would sit there, you talk about the biggest cluster uniqueness to it. I think you could see
cluster uniqueness.
Little foxtrot, or tango foxtrot there.
Yeah. We didn't get you, but we got you.
Yeah. So really interesting what is actually happening here. Again, we're going up, and if the market is pushing up, what do? We go long. The market is selling off, we go short. We are seeing a decent amount of volume come in though, so I can't sit there and go, I can't poo-poo it. Like if we start to see even more volume, we going long. That's it. Go long if the market's going up. So a market is always right. So that's about it in a nutshell for here. But yeah, that's what we're watching now. We just blew through this area here, but it's Monday. And on Monday, if we see it go up, I'm more avid to think that by the end of the week, we're going to see it come down. And that's why I'm looking at that 8-period moving average around the 816 area right now. That was really hard for me to say. So push up to come back down to push back up. So that's in a nutshell. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Beer. Try the veal.
Try the veal.
Yeah, it's at some point, the missus and I are going to be driving back to Ottawa here. So I got to work on, if possible, we can do an evening show tomorrow because you've got your daily thing tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we won't be back tomorrow at noon. But it's entirely possible that we'll have an evening space lounge tomorrow, roughly around 9 o'clock Eastern time. We'll be here Wednesday and one of 2 days, Thursday and Friday at the right time. And I just got to figure out our travel schedule so we can head back to Kanukistan, ladies and gentlemen, and take care of all the political issues there, just like we fixed everything here, Pedro, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to Crypto Mike, thanks to P. Gervais. Thanks to everyone over at Kit that watched today. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. As always, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, the man in the box next to me, Mr. Pedro Garcia. Thanks for watching our great show today. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow. I love you. Tomorrow. Goodbye.
Only a day
away.